Hey y'all, Joe out here at the cabin, St. Bernard Acres. This is Thursday, November 12th. I'm doing an update on my solar system I installed. And I look back on my videos when I turned this on, it was 75 days ago. So this is my 2.5 month review and overview of what I've done. And I'll start off by saying, yes, I'm great. I did this and I've had no problems. I've had zero issues with this for the whole 2.5 months. I've had my refrigerator running, lights, the laptop, charging up all my things. So I'm really, really happy with the decisions I made and the way it's set up. A lot of people left me comments about how I didn't know what I was doing and this was wrong and that's wrong and this isn't going to work and that's not going to work. I don't know. I did it the way I learned it. The whole thing has been trying to learn it all. I'm not a solar expert. I don't know how to do, I wouldn't go to somebody's house and say, here, let me set up your solar for you. I'm not going that far. But I know this worked. So what I'm going to be doing today, just give you a quick overview. F-Ever tracer, charge controller. Breakers down here, I don't know if you can see, for my solar panels and for my batteries. So I can kill the power going from the solar panels to the charge controller. If I'm ever going to work on anything that I have to disconnect the batteries, you have to disconnect them from the solar first. So I can flip that breaker and it's off. A shunt, fuses, 24 volt to 12 volt converter, because I'm getting ready to start running my 12 volt lighting now that I know how all that works. The only thing I'm going to change is my inverter. Now, this is a 2000 watt inverter, 4000 watt peak. Works great. I have no issues with this whatsoever, except it's not a pure sine wave inverter. This one isn't. And I couldn't afford a pure sine wave inverter. So I went with this. And I didn't know how big an inverter I was going to need anyway. So after 2.5 months of watching how all this works, I have never used more than 200 watt hours at any given time. That's with the refrigerator being on. It runs at around 60 watts for maybe 10 minutes every 90 minutes. It's a really good refrigerator. My lights will run 25 watts if I run both lights. The laptop is minimal. The charging the batteries is like 5 watts, charging cell phones and stuff for as long as they're charging. So with everything on, I'm not hitting 200 watts. So, and even if I wanted to run the air conditioner, that's only 500 watts. So I'm still, 700 watts that I'm using when I have everything on in here that I need. So I'm really happy with that. I didn't know. These were all things that I just had to keep testing and recording and checking, watching. So now that I know the actual wattage that I use, I don't need one this big. So what I did, because, I could afford it, and I borrowed a little money from a fund that I probably shouldn't have. But what I bought was this same brand, a 1200 watt pure sine wave inverter. A lot smaller, it's about half the size of this. But, these things use amps to run. They'll use your batteries to run. To make 2,000 watts of power takes more battery than to make 1,200 watts of power. If that makes sense. I will never use 2,000 watts of power. And what happened was I listened to too many people that really didn't know what they were talking about. They told me I needed a 2,000 watt inverter or a 3,000 watt inverter to run, blah, 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 blah. My 6 little batteries. And I did not need this. So, but I'm not going to throw it away, but I will probably use it because it has to run 24/7, mine here, because of the refrigerator. When I set up the solar in the barn, I may use this one because I will only turn that on when I need it. So this, what I have in the barn, when I set that up, this will work just fine. I can turn it on, use it. When I'm done at the barn, I can turn it off. It won't be a 24-hour draw on the system. But think about that kind of stuff when you are sizing up your system. I can't tell you how to size it up and what size you're going to need. I was worried about my batteries being able to, if I'd have enough to run all night long, or days that we had with no sun. And my batteries it's a 24 volt bank. My batteries never got below 25.2. That's the lowest they've ever seen, which is 12.6 on a single battery. So they've never been below 80%. I expect those batteries to last me a few years. A lot of people laughed at them, oh, those are Walmart, blah, 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 blah. I expect them to last a few years because they'll never get below, 80%. If you take care of your batteries, they'll last a long time. So, those are some of the things I learned by doing this, and I'm trying to share with you. So what I'm going to do now is kill the battery power to the inverter, because my refrigerator is not running right now. My batteries are in from the charge control, it's in equalize mode. They equalize for a couple hours, then they drop down to a float charge because the sun is actually out. Yesterday it was, oh man, rain all day and gray and overcast. But I still charged up fully, That's how good this system works. So all you people that tell me it doesn't work. I'm going to go ahead now, turn this off, unplug it, and swap it out with the other one, and then we'll see how that works. Then I'm going to turn the battery power off, and you have to be careful because these things hold it, power in them for a while. So I'm going to kill the battery to it, which is right here. So I've got to wait till that meter gets down to 0. Then I'll feel safe in disconnecting my positive and my negative here, taking this off, putting the other one on, hooking it back up, and turning it on. So let me unplug my extension cord to the refrigerator. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this is working. And if somebody like me can set this up and make it work as efficiently and as reliably as it does, then anybody can do it. And a lot of those people, I'll say this, a lot of those people who are telling me this won't work, you gotta do this, that's wrong, you know, cheap things, you know, blah, blah, blah. I've got 4 250 watt panels that I put up. I have 6 more of those panels at home that I don't even need for this cabin. That provides all I need for this cabin. So these guys that are telling me how, you know, oh, well, look at my system, you know, I got $12,000 in my system. I got $16,000 in my system. I got $1,500. And I got extra stuff that I don't need. So, bully on you. Should be able to turn the batteries back on. My 30 volts coming in. And let's turn this on. All right. 29.2. Plug in the refrigerator. Oh, I love it. I do indeed. Now wait and see if the refrigerator kicks on. But that's how easy it was to change out the inverter. And that's the only thing I wanted to change. Everything else is perfect. And this was perfect, but just too big. I didn't need it. And that's what I get for listening to people who didn't know what they were talking about. Because I'm telling you, without the air conditioner, I could do the refrigerator, the lights, the laptop, you know, all this on a 500 watt inverter. But yeah, I'm loving this. His batteries are like I said, in equalized mode. So let's wait till the refrigerator kicks on. But I won't make you sit here and wait. But now my batteries are at 29.2. They're in equalization mode, right where it should be. And I don't know if you could hear this constant meowing, but there's Creamer. There's the kitty wanting back in. Because people asked on the last video, where's Creamer? There he is. Creamer. Hey. Look up, say hi. Yeah, there you go. Say hi to everybody. Yeah. Creamer. This, can you hear that? I don't know why it does that when it starts up. It'll do that for a while and then it makes a big bang when one of the metal plates somewhere expands or contracts and bang. So I'm replacing that. That's my next project out here. I forgot to bring some pipe dope with me, otherwise I'd change it today. But I bought a Dynaglow infrared instead of the blue flame convection. I'm going to be swapping those out. But yeah, we're just out here chilling, enjoying life. And once I get, like I said, once I get me some pipe dope, see, now it stopped somewhat. But when you're sleeping in here and you hear that, and then you hear the big bang, that sucks. So I'll show you what I bought. Hear that? Yeah. I bought this one. And I got the return on that. I can send that back, get my money back, so I'm not losing out on anything. That's convection heat. This is infrared. Real quick difference is that heats the air. And with this one, it's always hot upstairs, not so much downstairs, because that heats the air. This infrared heats objects that then heat the air. So they're better. This will heat the futon and the table and, you know, heat objects in the room, which will then heat up the air. So I'm happy with that. You know, I don't like the noise this Mr. Heater one makes. And I'll swap them out. But yeah, everything's good here still. Pretty much all the leaves are gone now. I mean, it's beautiful out. Cold. It's gonna be cold tonight. So I'll be glad at least I got some heat. I'm waiting on that refrigerator to kick on so I can show you the inverter. Silly. I'll be back. Silly. Yes. What a goofy cat. Now this is interesting. This is only pulling 40 watts. That's the refrigerator going. Nice. You can barely hear it. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But this inverter, I guess the power that the inverter was using and the refrigerator, it would be around 60 watts. Now I'm only pulling 40. Awesome. Let me double check it. See what the other meter says if it's close. $56. It's close. But that's all it's pulling. That is awesome. Wow. I mean, maybe it's the 40 watts on the fridge and 15 watts on the inverter itself to invert, you know, make the 110. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I'm pulling, and my refrigerator's running less than 2 amps. But I got, you know, 29.3 is where my batteries are right now. That's with the load on it. You can see they're full. .29 volts, 8.7 amps. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy with the way this looks. Heck yeah. Turn that backlight off. I mean, basically, the fridge is working off the solar panels. There's very little draw. Again, I don't know how all that works. I'm not a solar expert. Let me plug in a light. See what it does. see what this changes to. Nothing. Because it's the battery, it's running off the solar panels. Let's see what this one says. If this gives me the true, what it's pulling. It's a whole lot easier to watch this stuff at night. Yeah, and I'm up to 62.5. A little over 2 amps. So right where I want to be. Now I don't have to be afraid to plug my laptop in. I was a little nervous with that being modified sine wave. So now you can see the batteries have gone into float mode. That comes up. And the flashing green light on the inverter means it doesn't know what to do with all the power that's being generated from the solar panels. I mean, it's just dumping it basically. Because these things have already equalized and now they're in float, fully charged, and ready for the sun to go down. And this will drop down, and once they're out of float charge, it'll drop down around 26.4, 26.5 to start the night out. And then they go all night. And tomorrow morning, before the light comes up, they'll be around 25.2 to 25.4. Which at 12 volts, that would be 12.6 to 12.7. And that's as low as these batteries ever go. So it's really working well. I wish if the refrigerator kicked on right now, it wouldn't even take anything from the batteries. It would run entirely off the solar panels. I wouldn't really even see a change in the batteries. So we're all good. There's Creamer eating again. Anyway, that's my little solar update. Sorry it took so long. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, like, share, comment, make suggestions. You know, keep telling me how I did all this wrong and it's not going to work. And we'll all be happy. But yeah, I love this. I like that new inverter. I will say the refrigerator does not run this quiet on the modified sine wave inverter. The pure sine wave inverter, it runs a lot quieter. So what they say about it being better for appliances and electronics, I believe now. I believe they're right. But this is Joe out here at St. Bernard Acres. I'm out.